one last morning in Iceland. Back in Seyðisfjörður we slept in and took it easy. Cleaned our gear before heading back to town and bought the ferry. A 15-hour journey was up next. And so we are in the Faroe Islands. A magical place, somewhere in the remote North Atlantic. The landscape is as harsh as the climate. Steep mountains with sharp peaks, rugged coastlines, and one deep fjord following the next. Grass covers the treeless landscape, shorn by sheep that gave the island their name. 18 islands that are connected by underwater tunnels, and endless roads winding through the narrow fjords. Stepping on the Faroe Islands feels like stepping back in time. Life is slower here, people have other themes than at home. Fish, myths and weather are those shaping life here. Especially in the villages you get this feeling. Most of them are tiny, and walking through them is always something special. Narrow small paths take you along traditional wooden houses with grass rooftops. And as tourism came to the island, you can find cute bakeries and cafes in most towns. Our first stop was the village of Gásadalur. Our goal for the evening were the cliffs on the other side of the valley. As we walked through the town, a dog named Flinka joined us. We spent a lot of time throwing stuff around and getting chased by him.
I stay for a moment, or hang for a while. You tell me what you want to.
But as we approached the steeper part of the hike, we weren't sure if he will make it, and he didn't look like returning home anytime soon. So we called the owner and asked for advice. He just said that we have to shout, "Go home, Flinka." I did this, and after one last confused look at us, he was gone, running back to the village, chasing some cows along the way. Goodbye, Flinka. We continued up the ridge. The way got quite steep, but as we went up, the sun decided to come out again. On the ridgeline the view was spectacular. A drop of roughly 600 meters was in front of us, and below we could spot some old abandoned village, and even some sunken ship in distance. We hiked further along the ridge as the sun got lower, and ended the day with a beautiful sky before hiking back through the darkness. Back in town we drove for a bit until we parked on the coast. During the night a change in weather came in and low clouds approached the islands. With no rush to hike or to be out photographing, we took it easy this morning. Meanwhile, the whole islands were covered by clouds and we just cruised around. In the evening we drove up a mountain in hope to be above the clouds. And it worked out. We found ourselves above a sea of clouds with only sharp mountains peeking out. Such a mind-blowing scene, and it got even better. We had a tiny chance for sunset colors as there was a band of clear sky on the horizon. The sunset light came in and lasted only for just 5 minutes, but it lit up the landscape in a deep red tone. The following day we boarded the ferry to the southernmost island, Suðuroy, a place that we were extremely excited to see, but unfortunately the weather made a cut in our plans. Thick fog was basically all over the island, and the view was sometimes down to maybe 50 meters as we drove over sketchy mountain passes. Still, it was beautiful, but in another way, and I was happy to experience it all alone and in silence. In some lucky moments we were able to see a bit further, but usually the fog rolled in seconds after. Suðuroy is said to have an incredible coastline, with big pillars of rock rising out of the ocean and deep cliffs. Well, I guess we always have to leave room for another visit. We escaped the weather with the ferry back to the mainland and got welcomed by blue sky and sun. From the small town of Tjørnuvik, we started our last hike before going home. We followed a small farmer's path up the mountain and from then hiked without any path to one of the steepest cliffs of the mainland. After a long hike, we were super happy to see the destination of today. A surreal place, a field of lush green grass leading towards a 400-meter drop into the Atlantic, while always being in the shadow of this sharp peak, Millingur, rising over 600 meters straight out of the ocean. We sat down, watched the scenery, and had some well-deserved freeze-dry food. The sun went down too quickly, and it disappeared behind the clouds before the really beautiful light went in. At first we wanted to bivvy up here, but as it got super humid and clouds started to roll in, we decided to hike back to the van and spend the last evening in a warm and cozy place. The following day we took the ferry back to Denmark and eventually drove home. 5 amazing weeks came to an end. And I really hope you enjoyed my little visual summary here. See you soon, guys.
nights were cold. They were scared down in their homes. The forest that once was green was colored black by those killing machines. But she and her furry friends took down the queen bee and her men. And that's how the story goes, the story of the bees with those 4